And that perspective turns small daily choices into acts of self-respect instead of punishment. It is not punishment to not, do whatever your thing is that you don't want to be doing. It's not about fear. It's about making every action you take like a vote for the type of person you want to be.
Hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Desiree Caruso, naturopathic doctor, and I'm interviewing my friend and colleague, Brandi Garden, the co-founder of Aversia Wellness and the author of Healing Your Body, Mind, and Soul. Today, we are diving into Chapter 10, Asking for Synchronicities. Okay, I loved Chapter 10. It's so fun and light, and it reminds me of Gabby Bernstein and her book. And okay, I'm so excited. You open this chapter by asking a really powerful question. Have you ever experienced a coincidence so perfectly timed that it felt like more than mere chance? It feels like we all experience moments like that, but some of us don't actually pay attention to them, or we've been conditioned to be scared of them or lean away from them instead of toward. Why do you think that is?
It's funny. I love this chapter too, and it was so much fun. And my publisher and my writing coach hated it, actually told me not to write it because you're full woo-woo when you say synchronicities and write a whole chapter about it. But it was just about fun for me, so I'm glad you felt that way. And I think we've been conditioned to distrust anything that we can't immediately explain. And that's what this chapter was about. From a very young age, we are taught that reality is only what we can measure, what we can prove, or what we can label. That is literally what you learn in science class.
Yeah.
And that anything outside of that is either coincidence, or it's your imagination, or it's something you should definitely be afraid of. But synchronicities do not demand belief. They invite curiosity, which was my word of the year a few years ago, curiosity. And I think that requires presence. And if you are rushing through life and you are living in your head, or you are operating from fear and control, you're going to miss them. And I missed them my whole life. And I don't want that for everyone else because they're too much fun. I also think that leaning toward synchronicity asks us to admit, this is big, that we're not doing this alone, that there might be an intelligence or an order larger than us play out there. And for some people, that feels very unsettling, and I get that. It challenges the idea that we have to figure everything out by ourselves, when really we don't.
No, we don't. And embrace the fun, because it's fun. You have many giggles with yourself when you embrace the synchronicities.
Every day. Literally every day. Oh, there's a license plate. Hee hee.
7-Eleven.
It's just a game.
Yeah. What I noticed in this chapter is that there's this beautiful thread of trust woven throughout. What if we all just trusted that things would work out? Do you think people who seem to have it all figured out, or who are successful and who we look up to, do you think that they're actually living from that place of trust? Is that it?
Honestly, I don't think people who look like they have it all figured out are controlling life better. I think that they are trusting it more. I think that trust doesn't mean that you don't take action or make plans. I think it means that you stop gripping so tightly, which is how I lived for so long. I think when you live from trust instead of control, then you are more adaptable and you are more creative and you are more open to opportunities that you couldn't have planned for anyway. So what I've noticed is that people who live from trust tend to recover faster when things don't go as expected. That is my husband. It's one of my favorite things about my husband, Craig. He does not interpret challenges as failure, ever. He sees them as redirection. It's his genius. He doesn't even know he's doing it. So I think synchronicities thrive in that mindset. They don't show up when we are forcing an outcome. They appear for us when we are really willing to meet life halfway.
Wow, what a profound message. I think this leads into the control versus curiosity part, because so many of us really try to control outcomes, especially when it comes to health, healing, business. How did learning to ask for synchronicities help you release control and then step into curiosity instead?
I think asking for synchronicities completely changed my relationship with control. I wouldn't say I was a control freak. I know some control freaks. But I think that instead of saying, like, I need this to happen exactly this way, I started being able to ask, whatever's out there, show me what I need to see. And that came with sitting, right? That little shift turned control into curiosity for me. And suddenly life becomes this conversation instead of a battle. And I don't know, I wasn't micromanaging outcomes anymore. I got to start observing patterns, which I love patterns. My brain loves a pattern. Paying attention, I think just presence is huge, and responding back. So curiosity is incredibly regulating for my nervous system, where control was so tense for me. Curiosity feels this like this openness, and in human design, I bring it up all the time. I'm a 4-6 generator, and so are you, Dr. Des. But when we look at our body graph in human design, I'm open. Open, 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 open in all my centers, in places where you are very defined. And that's why we're such a good match for each other. And to me, that curiosity is that openness that feels so right for me. So when I release the need to force my healing, that's what this book was about, to force success for my company or to force certainty in my life, in my family, with my friends, I noticed guidance start showing up in very unexpected ways, in conversations, in timing, in numbers. As you know, my 1s and 7s are huge for me. Chance encounters like meeting you on the corner by the cafe and going, hey, weren't you my student? What are you up to these days? Synchronicities became a reminder that I didn't have to carry everything on my own, that there's something else at play.
What a great reminder. There's this exercise or this prompt, this nudge within the chapter to see yourself 10 or 20 years from now. And I love when you invite readers to picture themselves. Picture yourself 10 or 20 years from now. Why do you think future self perspective is such a powerful tool for decisions, for making decisions about our health and then our life today?
Because future you has clarity that present you doesn't. And at 50, I can see it. Like hindsight's 2020. When you imagine yourself 10 or 20 years down the road, you instantly zoom out of that short-term discomfort that you might be in and into long-term truth. You stop asking, like, what's the easiest thing for me to do right now so I can get out of discomfort? And you start asking, well, I did, what's loving to me? What is sustainable for me? I have goosebumps all over my whole body. What actually matters to me? My body's always listening, and it's listening right now. It's like, oh, you're asking. Future self perspective is especially powerful with health. Like that's me feeling it in my body right now. If you continue, when you came to work with us at Aversio, I think 3 years ago, you posted something on our social media, and I can't remember who quoted it, but it was something about if you continue eating or moving or sleeping or managing stress the same way you are now, does your health improve or decline? It was a life-changing question for me, Dr. Des. Like if I keep doing and I had changed my eating. Like it was so layered, my healing journey, as everyone's is. I knew I needed to change the way I ate. I knew I needed to change the way I moved. I needed to move more and not in a stressful way, adding yoga, all the things. I knew I needed to get to bed. I'm terrible about staying up late, but I had zero experience with managing stress. And I knew that if I continued to manage stress the way I was, my health would not improve. In one Instagram post, that came to me. I saw what I would look like further down the road. Like meditation was not an option for me, and I probably needed to do it twice a day. So most of us already know the answer to that question. I'm going to ask it to you again, listeners. If you continue eating, moving, sleeping, and managing stress the same way you are right now, does your health improve or decline? And I know you know the answer. And that perspective turns small daily choices into acts of self-respect instead of punishment. It is not punishment to not, do whatever your thing is that you don't want to be doing. It's not about fear. It's about making every action you take like a vote for the type of person you want to be.
That's powerful. What I also love too is how you said that your healing journey was layered. And I think when we think of a journey or a goal where we're trying to get somewhere and be a certain person that we want to be, we think of it linearly. We think of like this exit, then this exit, then you turn left here, then you turn right here. And it's a series of things, but it's actually moving through the layers. And that can be very different directions. And it's really nice to think of it that
and
way.
it can be backwards sometimes, right? I think we think it's like this. You're going to constantly be moving up toward your goal, but it's not only jagged, it also can mean down for a bit and then back up along the way. It's never perfect.
Nope,
It's not
never.
pretty.
Nope,
Frickin'
totally.
hot mess, actually. But
Hot mess. But then that segues perfectly into this theme of control with intentions. So in this chapter, you write, you only realize how intentional you wish you were after you've lost something. How can we take that message and regain control of our intentions for our life before we're forced to look back with regret?
That line came from lived experience. And whether it's health or relationships or time, we rarely appreciate something fully until it is threatened or it is gone. That is the human experience. Why do we do that to ourselves? The way we reclaim intention before regret is by slowing down enough to ask better questions right now. Like, ask yourself right now, what am I prioritizing? What am I tolerating that is costing me energy? This is a big question for me this year. What am I postponing that future me will wish I'd started sooner? We're recording this in January, and I think a lot of people are smart to ask themselves that question right now. You won't regret starting something sooner, and it's not a goal you're setting for yourself. It is who do you want to become, and what are the little actions you're going to take every day that are going to be a vote toward that identity of you. So intention, it isn't about perfection. It's about presence. It's choosing again and choosing again and choosing again to act from awareness instead of on autopilot. Your body loves autopilot. It will just get up and do the same thing. You will live the same day, like Groundhog Day, over and over and over until you become aware of what's leading you where you don't want to be and what you're missing out. So just getting present, just being aware that's the waking up. That is the awakening everybody talks about. You know, it's those, and it's the synchronicities for me that actually support that. They wake us up. They interrupt the unconscious patterns and they invite us back into conscious participation with our lives. You are responsible for the life that you have right now. You are a participant in your reality, which is exciting because it means you can change it if you want to.
That is so powerful. When you started asking for synchronicities, it felt like less of a trick or a technique and more like a relationship, almost like a dialogue with life. How did that shift change the way you relate to the world around you?
That shift changed everything. When synchronicities became relational instead of transactional, life felt responsive instead of random. And I thought, I was the person that believed things were random before that time. I stopped asking for proof and started engaging in the conversation. So I would sit and meditate in the morning and I would set my intention and I would ask for a sign. I'd literally say it out loud or write it in my journal or whisper it to myself. And then I would move through my day listening instead of demanding. And that created trust. It was like life was saying, I'm here and I'm responding, pay attention. And when you relate to life that way, you move with more reverence. You're kinder, you are more patient, you are more open. You don't bulldoze moments, you meet the moment and you enter a relationship, a beautiful one.
I love that. That is very beautiful. I love the word reverence. I'm just letting that
I'm
sit
reading
in.
The Seed of the Soul again right now. So I just reheard the reverence chapter. If you have not read Seed of the Soul, put it on your list this year.
I have a note in my notes app on my phone, and it's favorite words, and reverence is in that list.
We could do a whole episode on that.
On favorite words. Okay, you include Carl Jung's definition of synchronicity in this chapter, that it's the coming together of inner and outer events in a way that's meaningful to the observer, even if it can't be explained by cause and effect. Why do you think meaning, not proof, is what really matters here?
Because meaning changes us and proof doesn't have to. You can explain something away intellectually and still feel unchanged. But when something lands as meaningful, it reorganizes how you see yourself and your place in this world. Synchronicities don't ask us to suspend logic, which is, I think, what people think. They ask us to honor experience. And Jung understood that inner and outer worlds are not separate. And meaning is the bridge between those two things. So if a moment inspires trust or courage or healing or alignment, then that impact matters far more than whether it fits neatly into a scientific explanation that we may not even have the language for at this time. Writing really taught me that. I came to so many things I wanted to share that I honestly felt like the language does not exist in our world, not in the English language anyway. So many other languages are more advanced than ours. So many languages have more than one word for what we call love, for instance. And I think that really hit me in this one, right? We aren't going to always be able to fit things neatly into science. And that just comes with acceptance.
It comes with acceptance. For people who have tried meditating or being mindful and asking for synchronicities, but they feel like nothing is showing up, what would you say to them? Is it that they're asking for something insignificant, like they ask for an apple to show up in their life and it's just not their thing? Is it that they're not asking for their thing? Like, how can people learn what to ask for?
Such an important question. I think so many people are asking for signs without clarity, right? They're asking for things that don't actually matter to them. Does that apple really, is it significant, or are you making a joke of things? Synchronicities respond to sincerity. If you are asking for something random or surface level, like an apple, then you might miss the deeper guidance that's trying to show up around your real desire. The question isn't, why isn't this working? It's, what do I truly want help with? Healing, direction, courage, clarity, what's the thing? And when you ask from that deeper place, and then you stay open, instead of attached to it, synchronicities tend to arrive in ways that feel unmistakably personal. And I write about a lot of my personal ones in the book.
Yeah, being unattached to that outcome and just being. How did asking for synchronicities change the way that you live day to day? The choices you make, how you listen to your body, and how you approach healing?
I think it made me slower in the best way. Not slow because I'm old. I think I listen more closely to my body, to my intuition, to my environment. I pause before pushing through discomfort. I pay attention to repetition, things that come up over and over again. There's something happening there. If you're getting the same lesson, like, why does this bad thing always happen to me? Why do I always choose the wrong person? Why do my relationships go this way? When there's repetition, it means something. Something is trying to tell you something. The timing of things. It could be emotional signals. Day-to-day life feels less mechanical and more responsive. So decisions come from alignment instead of urgency. And healing feels cooperative. Synchronicities did not remove responsibility for me. They deepened it. I became more intentional, slower, because I felt supported, not because I was trying to control outcomes anymore.
That's a great lesson, I think, for a lot of people to hear for growth. If synchronicities aren't about getting signs, but about learning how to listen, what's one way someone can start listening more deeply to their life starting today?
Start by creating space. Silence is where listening begins, and it doesn't matter if it's 5 minutes. I think people around me in my life, I love to meditate. It's my favorite part of the day, and it's gotten longer over time, but a lot of time, 5 years. I didn't start by meditating for an hour. So if it's 5 minutes where you don't have your phone in your hand, in your face, there's no agenda, that signals to your nervous system that it's safe to receive information instead of to react to it all the time. And then ask one sincere question and release the expectation of how the answer is going to come to you, how the answer should look. Just pay attention to what repeats, what resonates, what feels emotionally charged in some way. And listening isn't passive, it's receptive. So once you practice that, life starts speaking much more clearly to you, and it's so much fun.
It's fun. Create the space, come home to yourself, build that awareness, and have fun. Chapter 10 reminds us that magic isn't separate from everyday life. It's woven into when we slow down and pay attention. But in Chapter 11, Refusing to Give Up on Love, you take us even deeper into the heart. Brandi, would you say synchronicities are one of the ways that love gently guides us?
Absolutely. Love is always communicating, and we just have to be willing to listen.
Excited. Don't miss it, everyone. See you in the next episode.